Hello and welcome. This is the Mazda 787B, and in Gran Turismo 7 there are hundreds of vehicles to choose from, but in my opinion this is the cream of the crop. This car has everything that you need from a race car. It has incredible power, it is extremely lightweight, amazing brakes, tons of downforce, and it has history. And in my opinion, that is what really seals the deal. If you go on to enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. Now, the experience of driving the 787B is honestly something else. You don't really get this experience from many other vehicles. I don't know if it's the fact of that 4-rotor behind you screaming, or just the way this car takes corners, because I always say in my videos, oh, you can take this car around corners relatively flat out. In this vehicle, you hold the accelerator, you don't even think of braking, because the car will just get you around the corners as fast as possible. And it's actually mind-blowing, because it almost takes the laws of physics and flips it on its head. And that's the thing, this car isn't even fully tuned for max downforce. However, what really makes this car is that 4-rotor that I mentioned, is the R26B engine that comes with the Mazda 787B. Now, this car produces over 690 brake horsepower standard in a vehicle that only weighs 830 kgs. That is incredible. And talking about the way this car flips physics on its head, this car was made in the 90s, and by today's standards, this car is still groundbreaking. The way it performs is honestly unlike any other vehicle. Now, this car is considered to be a one-hit wonder. Now, that is because this car was the first ever Japanese vehicle to win the 24 Hours of Le Mans. However, there is some debate, because in the 91 season where this car won the race, a new rule was made stating that all the vehicles had to have a 3.5 liter displacement, whereas the R26B only had a 2.6 displacement. Now, because of this rule, a lot of teams were testing out new engines and the cars were rather unreliable. So whereas, yes, the 787B was underpowered compared to these 3.5 liter engines, the car was extremely reliable. So when other teams had to go in and sort out their engines, the 787B just kept pushing on. But because the cars were so unreliable, they had to switch back over to the 1990 season's cars. So because of that, the whole 3.5 liter displacement rule got pushed back and only implemented in 1992, which means the 787B could not compete in that season. However, in the other 23 races that the 787B raced in and competed, it only won one. So yes, the car is iconic, but when it came to racing and competing against some of the other vehicles, the car wasn't the best. However, in Gran Turismo 7, that is completely different, because this is arguably one of the best cars to own. Now, this car has insane levels of power. As I said, 690 brake horsepower as standard in a body that weighs only 830 kgs. Now, when it comes to upgrading this vehicle, there isn't really much you can add on. However, what you can add is a high RPM turbocharger and maybe some racing soft tires. Other than that, there isn't really much you can add, because with it being a Group 1 vehicle, most of the stuff is already applied or it's not applicable. Now, if we come to tuning, we need to slap on the high RPM turbocharger, and that's gonna boost our power up. Now, you can see the downforce levels were actually quite low, so we're just gonna max that out. When it comes to suspension, we're not gonna touch a single thing because I think it's absolutely perfect. So now, with the high RPM turbocharger, the car produces a whopping 989 brake horsepower. And without us being able to touch the weight, we now have more power than we actually have weight, which means this car is going to be absolutely insane. Plus, with the added downforce, it's going to be such an unreal driving experience. Now we come into the first corner doing over 300 kilometers per hour. And now what I love about this Group 1 racer is how good the brakes are. You slam on the brakes and your car is stopping on a dime. Coming around the corners here, doing over 300 kilometers per hour. Going around a turn in a vehicle from 1991, you think to yourself, is that not impressive? And we can just hear that R26B engine screaming behind us. With the high RPM turbocharger adding a few sneezes in there too, it's just a symphony. Give it a listen. Now the thing is, when driving the vehicle now with the high RPM turbocharger applied, the car completely changes. The car's acceleration is increased. It's just the way it climbs speeds, and the way you need to brake has to actually change now to keep up with how fast you're actually going. But it doesn't actually feel that different to the standard car, but you can feel the difference. Now I don't know if what I said makes any sense at all, but what I do know is that this will be one of the fastest cars you will ever drive in Gran Turismo 7. Now, if you do not already own this vehicle, and this is probably going to be the only negative I have about this car, with it being such a legendary vehicle, it goes without saying that this car is available for purchase in the legendary dealership. However, you cannot just go in and purchase this vehicle. It is in a rotation, so when it comes in the game, then you have a limited amount of time to actually purchase it. But for what the vehicle actually is, and for how much the car is currently going for, because the last time I was in the game, the car was priced at around 2.3 million credits. And for what you get a hell of a lot of value for money. And yes, this car can be used in events. This car can be detuned to 800 performance points, which means you can use this car as a money grinding vehicle. And one thing that this car can be used for is a neo-classical challenge. Now that is, in my opinion, one of the hardest menu books in the game, and this car absolutely dominates the competition. Now I've made guides on it, so if you are struggling and you have this vehicle, you can get it done. There will be a link in the description for that video. I still need to work on a tune for 700 performance points, but I will be uploading money making methods using this vehicle, because when I tell you, it's actually overpowered compared to some of the other vehicles. So if you do want to see that, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss out. So the Mazda 787B, genuinely one of the best driving experiences in Gran Turismo 7. In my opinion, the best car you can own from a monetary standpoint, from a fanboy standpoint, from any standpoint. This car is absolutely incredible. So if you don't already have this vehicle, please, the next time it comes in the dealership, purchase. So with all that being said, hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.